Hi everyone, my name is Emily Radkowski. A little bit about myself. So I'm the Director of Revenue Enablement at a tech company here in Boston called DataRobot. What DataRobot does is we're an AI company, and I know AI is very buzzwordy right now, so I'm going to break it down a little bit for you on what we actually focus on. So what we look to is take all companies' data and turn it into business value. And so if any of you know or have heard of or thought about the job of a data scientist or a data engineer or a data analyst, a lot of their work prior to actually achieving a point in time to make a proper business decision off of data is so manual and time consuming, and you have to be so precise. And so the technology that our company built basically speeds up that process. So we can put these data engineers and data scientists in a position of value in the front of the business. And so what I actually work on is none of that. I'm not a technical person, but enablement and operations to help the business function internally as we scale externally is what I own. So anything from sales ops to coaching, training, content development, ongoing competency matrices throughout our organization, that's what I own. So I look after a team of 15 people at this time, and DataRobot's pretty massive. We just crest over 1,000 employees, and so I know this is small business, and though I don't own a small business, I'm happy to share some of the things that I've worked on within my small domain to hopefully align with all of you. I did grow up with a father who did start his own business, and so I'm very familiar and very supportive of all small businesses. So I'm really grateful to be sharing this evening with you all tonight. So with that being said, please interrupt me at any time with questions or comments or thoughts. Hopefully this is pretty engaging to you. Before I get started, because I had an amazing networking opportunity with these fellas over here, I just want to say before I get into the meat of this, I want to talk a little bit about executive presence, and I'm not here to be the authority around what it means to be an executive or what it means to have executive presence. That's for you to decide what rings true to you. But I am here to inspire, and so that's what I hope you leave with, is inspiration around how to capture sort of this next version of yourself. And so just wanted to level set there, okay? So before we get started, executive presence, and we'll define this throughout, I'd love to open the floor with just some thoughts around people who you've been inspired by. So I'm gonna start with you, Rogera. Who's someone in your life, we may know them or we may not know them, that you aspire to be?
I have only met her once, so forgive me, I'm not going to know her name. You might know her from Veggie Cafe. Julie took the tattoo off of her? Yeah. That woman, oh my goodness. She is like no holds bars, very straight to the point. This is what needs to be done. This is how it needs to be done. And I aspire to be that.
So I want to stay with you for 1 second. So, you described this is what needs to be done, this is what has to be done. Like, why did that inspire you?
I guess it was more her fearlessness in expressing it. Usually I think I get very nervous telling her what to do.
Yeah.
And I specifically told her that I hate coming off as not so nice, and she was like, forget that. And so I've been trying to channel that.
I love that. So my takeaway there is fearlessness. So let's put fearlessness in the parking lot for 1 second, and I'd love at least 2 more people to volunteer someone that they aspire to be like.
Well, I think sometimes when you meet someone that's really capable, they're sort of relaxed. You can have a normal discussion with them. They're not up on a pedestal, and they're very comfortable with themselves. So that I guess it makes the communication channel very open.
Do you have an example of someone that you admire? Maybe we know them, maybe we don't. That's okay.
Well, I worked with a scientist years ago that was on the National Science Board. And he was just a real relaxed, even person. But you bring up any topic that I've been working on for a month, and he knew more about it just randomly, he was just really knowledgeable. He was just a really relaxed, down-to-earth person. I mean, it'd be like having a discussion with anyone.
Awesome.
Only easier.
Yeah. So, takeaway, knowledgeable. So, fearlessness, knowledgeable. One or two more.
I don't think you guys know her, but her name is Lisa Kelly Croswell. Up until last week, she was my senior VP.
Okay.
And she's the chief HR officer and senior VP of Boston Medical Center. And my favorite thing about her is how strategic she is. So she came in with a vision, she came in with a purpose, she came in with a plan of this is where we're taking the organization in 5 years, we're going to come up with this and we're going to implement, and this is how we're going to measure it. But she not only said about implementing those things, but she was really strategic about the people that she put in place, and also understanding her place. So she's a woman of color in a predominantly not women of color type business and corporate situations, and she knew her place, but she knew the power that she wielded and how to wield that power without being overbearing or being that stereotype.
Yeah.
And I really looked up to that.
I love that. So, takeaway, purposeful. So we have fearlessness, we have knowledgeable, we have purposeful. Can I get one more?
The trait that I admire usually most of the people is their ability to have empathy for other human beings, and understand regardless of where they're from. For example, I'm a white male, and we are in the position of dominance, quote unquote, in the culture, but we're also in a position right now of being attacked for being in that position for a long period of time. And people look at me and they think, oh yeah, he doesn't know anything about being a minority. Well, my mom's Jewish. I grew up in a town with 98% white Irish Catholic people. So guess what? I was a minority. I understand how it is to be in that world. And so I aspire to be able to show that empathy to other people, regardless of how they perceive it. People throughout my life and career that show me empathy for where I come from, because we all have different stories and you can't judge a book by that.
Yeah.
And that's a very important skill on a point basis, given the diversity with which our world hopes to attain.
Great, I love that. So we're going to get into qualities of executive presence in a little bit, but just to level set for this, you have one, please. Passion.
Dr. Ian Dunbar, dog trainer who was my mentor a million years ago, was so anxious to help dogs that he founded the Association of Professional Dog Trainers in 1993. It's now the largest organization of dog trainers in the world. That was brought by his passion to treat dogs correctly and the passion in which shows through all of you.
I love it. So before we get started in here, and we're going to explore some qualities throughout this, but I love the examples. So let's start this with we have fearlessness, we have knowledge, we have purposefulness, we have empathy, we have passion. So we're going to get into qualities. Before we get started, we have one intro. If you'd like to introduce yourself, we'd love to hear from you.
John Keys, Cambridge, Massachusetts, artist, entrepreneur. Keep going.
Not to put you on the spot, but everyone spoke and wanted to get to know you. So again, we're going to explore executive presence. And why this is an important skill to have. And I say to have because what we're going to uncover is that you don't have to be born with this, right? You can learn this, and it's through these people that inspired you to want something more from yourself. So let's talk a little bit more about who has executive presence. So on this next slide, after this, I have some people that I picked, but again, I'm not the authority. I'm just here to inspire. So if people could just start shouting out some maybe popular figures that you feel have executive presence, and now free of judgment, free of free of opinions on who supports who or who likes who. Just shout them out because there's no right or wrong answer here.
Colin Powell.
Steve Jobs, Michelle Obama. Who's that? Yes. Keep going. Barack Obama. Bill Clinton. Elizabeth Warren. Yeah. Oprah, yes. Alicia Moore, yes. John F. Kennedy. Now, not to be devil's advocate, but Donald Trump.
Not a chance in hell.
Not executive president? No?
Well, you have to have a reputation that's intact and not destroyed before people even meet you.
That's fair. But there are people who believe that he has executive presence. There are people, People look up to these two leaders, right? He was elected as a leader. Now I'm risking being a little vulnerable in front of everyone because I don't know who likes who, and that's okay. But I want to just acknowledge that executive presence is opinion based, and that's okay, right? And there's no right or wrong opinion around what it means to be executive because it's personal. You know, the woman that inspired you, she might not have inspired other people. She might have, put off other people, frankly. But that's okay. You know, she's there to inspire those that want to be inspired and to be like her. Donald Trump is here to inspire, whether we support that or not. Some people are inspired by that. And so it's just, I just want to make sure that we know that there's no right or wrong way, but there is a way that's best for ourselves, right? So here are some people that I picked. And I want to not talk about everyone on here, and we shouted some of these names out, but when you think about executive presence and you think about some of the faces on these screens, would you approach each of these individuals the same way? No. So think.
Why'd you put the German chancellor? That is the German chancellor.
Yeah, Theresa May.
Why'd I put her?
Yeah.
She was one of the first female electees in EMEA to be at that sort of seat of power. A lot of people respect her. She's taken sort of a stance that's maybe not totally accepted in Germany around her beliefs around immigration and things like that. So she sits in a seat of an executive seat for a country. Whether she's, you might agree or disagree that she has executive presence. I don't know. I picked her. Do you disagree?
No, I just wanted to hear your. I didn't really know why.
I think she has it.
I mean,
someone might not.
Anyone who has power over, it makes rules and regulations over a country, I think, has power.
Power, but executive presence. There's a little bit of a difference, right? And again, it's opinion based. So going back to Donald Trump, power. He has the power, whether some people want him to or not. Trying to keep the we out of it. Some people also believe he has executive presence and would want to emulate that.
We go back when you've got the German woman up there. You can also throw Hitler up there.
Could.
Who had a presence for a certain demographic of the world.
Could.
Whether or not the rest of the world agrees with it, he did have a presence that people follow.
Could. You absolutely could. So again, opinion based, and I am not the authority, but here to inspire. I want to talk about a couple of these. Oops, I'm supposed to stay over here. So let's talk about Kiwi 2, Queen Elizabeth II, and Jeff Bezos. Would we approach them the same way?
No.
Well, I just watched Downtown Abbey, and I know when you're in the presence of the Queen of England, you're supposed to bow.
Curtsy and
Yeah, you have certain special manners.
I might kiss Jeff Bezos' feet, right? He's one of my top examples, like role models. I love that guy,
Yeah, I think that's the wrong one for him.
but I might kiss his feet, right? I might curtsy him. I don't know what I'd do. I think he's amazing, but that's my opinion. But I'm teasing you,
would
but
respond to them differently. With
Yeah.
Bezos, he's really like a quintessential business person, both with vision and practicality. So if I had a minute with him, I would have really thought out some business question or advice or point to make
yeah,
that would be relevant that he could answer in that next minute, because that's what he's going to expect.
how would you approach the Queen then?
But that's a whole different thing, because this is a person, actually people don't know it, but the monarchy owns more real estate in the world than any other entity.
They stole more real estate in the world. They stole. Let's be factual.
Yeah, not disagreeing at all. I'm not a fan of monarchies, but it's just a different kind of person. This is not a self-made person. This is inherited wealth.
Yeah.
And it's a political figurehead, and yeah, she does have this like a reputational problem that they try to paper over with all the charitable works. So there's going to be a lot more fragilities in certain ways, and I don't think she's really necessarily a business person in the way that Jeff Bezos is.
Yeah.
Can I add to that too?
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know. I've never tried, but I don't think you can get close to the Queen without people stopping you.
Physically.
So there's some formalities, but just pretend that we just bumped into them in a hallway.
Okay.
So let's talk about Albert Einstein, and let's talk about Oprah. Oprah and Albert Einstein.
So what you would do to Jeff, I would do to Oprah.
Why? See, that's different than I've heard
Because
before.
Oprah and I can speak for myself as a black woman, Oprah for black women for the longest time was the only representation that we saw on TV for a really long time in the position that she was in and currently in.
Mm-hmm.
So she's this role model, idol, whatever you want to put her. So me seeing Oprah, like I don't think I'd be able to speak or get words out. But if I saw Einstein, I'd be like, oh, that's cool.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you were going in line with over here with Jeff Bezos, like having something really prepped, ready to go with Oprah.
I'd probably, if I knew I was meeting Oprah, I'd have a long list of things to talk to her about. But when I actually got in Oprah's presence, I don't think I'd be able to breathe.
I gotcha. Anyone else talk about Albert Einstein and Oprah?
Right, but so are you just saying if you like just bumped into them? Is that like how is the form? Like I'm trying to understand.
Starbucks.
How about you have 60 seconds with these people?
Starbucks, yeah.
You have 60 seconds to say to approach these people.
Oh, and I'd ask them like, what is the secret to like your success? If I have that amount of time limit, I'd ask them the most important questions. What I need to do to achieve, that success or whatnot, and pick their brain very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Would you approach them the same way?
I mean, I would, because I approach pretty much everybody the same way.
Fair.
But in terms of, what they know know different things. He's about science and math.
Yeah.
And she's about speaking before like a whole bunch of people, and so I'll ask them different questions.
Yeah.
I would approach them very similarly and ask them nothing. Let's go for a drink. Let's be serious. They're human beings. We always forget. I don't care how executive you are. You're a human being. You eat, you sleep, you drink, you go to the bathroom. Everything is the same for everybody. And people like to be treated like people.
I don't disagree with you.
Want to treat them special.
Yeah. So I don't.
His Bezos' feet.
Yeah. Well, that was an exaggeration.
I'd be shocked at first, but then after I'd be like, well, as he's saying.
Yeah. Well, no, I totally agree with you, and I see your point. That was just a little funny thing.
And you look at all these people who wrote books and everything, how they did it. So you already have all the knowledge. You just never went and got it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just walk up to them and say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Become friends with them. Learn the personal stuff that you don't know in their books.
Yeah. What about here?
I highly disagree. I think that Albert Einstein is one of the greatest minds that ever was.
Oh, definitely.
You can't think on the level that he was to create the theories that he came up with. So for that instance, I would definitely want to talk more on the science base and figure out. Because if he was alive, he probably would have came up with more stuff on how just basic things in how world works. So I definitely would want to pick his mind on that, like not the science base. But if it was like Oprah, because Oprah's like the mogul that she is, I definitely would want to talk to her more business savvy like, and figure out opportunities that happen.
Yeah.
You know, I'm wondering too, now I think about it, I'm wondering if this executive privilege thing is something that people have or something we give to them. And they're almost looking to, if they were being approached, they're looking for the executive presence in the person approaching them.
Yeah.
So that they can kind of like, otherwise it becomes, they become, idols or whatever, or worshipped or something. And they're looking for peers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're looking for executive privilege in, so to say, us or the world around them.
So let's
we give them something that they don't necessarily earn.
Yeah. Let's end on that, because that's perfect segue. You would have thought we planned this, so thank you. So before we move on, totally different people, all sitting in seats within their specific, verticals of leadership, of power. They're executives. Whether we, support them or not, that's where they're at. Would we approach them all the same? Maybe, but maybe not. It's important to, the reason why I put all of these different people up here is because I really want to just drive home the idea that it's not just Oprah, it's not just Jeff Bezos that can have executive presence, and these are top of their field. And executive presence it doesn't only exist at the top of your field, you can start doing it now. And so perfect segue into where we're going. So what is it? So I'm not one to really read slides I'm not really, I won't read the slide to you, sorry. The way to think about executive presence is instilling confidence. And it's not just instilling confidence in yourself, it's instilling confidence in other people, whether it's your potential customers, your current customers, your peers, your family, your friends, your boss, your manager, your direct reports. It's instilling confidence in people you meet in the Starbucks. It's instilling confidence in coming to a networking event like this. This takes a lot of courage, for a lot of people to be vulnerable and put themselves out there. I work on this stuff every day. Public speaking is not something that I love, but I try to put myself in a position to meet different people, to stand up in front of people, to just work on it, because I want to be someone that people see confidence from and they're inspired from. And so this is what it means to me. Does anyone have any comments on this definition?
Yeah, the key word that hits me there is inspired. That's a key word, and for me, I get that to make someone passionate about your vision, or whatnot. That's what I see in that.
And think about what you shared with us about if you were to run into Albert Einstein and Oprah in a coffee shop, you're looking to be inspired, but you're also looking to inspire them, right? You had a great example. You read the books, they write the memoirs, they do all of that stuff. Inspire me. But let me tell you a little bit about myself too. That's that sort of secret sauce to taking it to that next level with yourself. So it's just inspiring those around you. So we talked a little bit about some qualities at the beginning, but I'd love some additional shouts of executive. You can shout them out.
Well, I like being right, so to speak. I met a guy who was the commander of a battle group, not just one ship, but like 10 ships. And I asked him, what's your vision of leadership? And he said, being right. And I thought, that is like the most disappointing thing he ever could have told me. But then I got to be thinking, here you are in war, you've got this general, he says, go over the hill and do these things, and crazy to you. And then you do it, and you win the battle, and no one gets hurt on your side. And that happens again and again and again. And so it's not inspiring, but it's like creates trust, right? And so actually being right about things matters. And of course, in our society, we're so technical. We all have to have that quality about our decisions almost all the time.
Other folks?
This is just like shouting out questions almost, but the examples that we've seen, they have very strong identity. And inspiration for me doesn't necessarily tolerate. I feel like people with strong identity can inspire, but you don't have to be that person to inspire other people.
Right.
So is executive presence really is it very really equal to inspiring?
So no. What I was saying, once we left that slide of those, very well-known people, you don't have to be that person to inspire. You don't have to be, top of your pack in your vertical to basically achieve executive presence. You can start doing it now.
But when we invite friends to go out somewhere with us, let's go somewhere, we're inspiring them to join us. How we present that determines what their reaction is going to be.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go out to the bar and have some fun. Hey, you want to go out for a drink? How you present yourself determines how you're going to be perceived.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so you can do it at any point. Like think about, going on a date. How nice is it when someone kind of makes a recommendation? It's nice sometimes. You don't want to think about everything all the time. Or if you're traveling to a new city and you have a friend that already lives there, or you're meeting up with someone, or you work with someone to plan an itinerary. It's so nice, right? Than to kind of show up and be like, what the heck am I gonna do in Odessa, Ukraine? I don't know. But you can show up with a plan, you can show up a little bit confident to inspire that, that memorable moment. What if you met, you see Antonio Brown on paper, you see all the, the cars and the money and all that stuff you have, and then you meet him and he's a jerk.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
If you didn't know, I'm a Steelers fan, so I'm a little angry about that guy, but
I'd say that, if it's to inspire confidence, I think a lot of people in his position, a lot of professional athletes are kind of like cocky and all that stuff.
Yeah.
To me, it would be like he's confident.
Yeah, but so just to stay with you on this one a little bit, someone who I didn't believe really had executive presence, and now I'm, fully on board, LeBron James. His whole initiative that he's empowering with a few different athletes, more than an athlete. You're uninterrupted. He's changing his presence. He's more than an athlete. That's humongous. He's gone from, this sort of echelon to, he's just more than an athlete. And that's so inspiring to me. Because he was someone I was like, just a basketball player. He was really good in high school. He was a big guy. So they were like, yeah, you can play in the NBA. He was kind of a jerk. But now he's defining himself as more than an athlete.
The word execute is in here. So it's really the getting things done. It's more of an adverb than an adjective or a noun. It's an executive.
Yeah.
He's not an executive. He or she is executive.
Yeah.
They move the ball downfield. Not that they are, executive vice president. It's a title. It's not a business card. It's a motion detector.
I love that. What are some other qualities?
So executives, right? Pioneers.
Pioneers.
Right?
Innovators.
They're gonna do those things that when people are saying they're entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs, yeah.
When people are telling them they can't do something, they know they can do it. And they prove that they can do it.
Yeah, I love that.
That's an executive.
What else?
What I like about the definition here is it says inspiring confidence. It feels like inspire is transitory. So it's from me, let's say someone inspires another, it doesn't necessarily mean that person has changed. It means that person aspires to do something.
Mm-hmm.
But when it says inspires confidence, it means that they themselves have changed. And I think that having the positive impact on somebody and making them feel more powerful, it's not just that this person is powerful, it's that this person A makes person B feel powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's quite an impressive thing to do.
I love that. You have one?
No.
Oh.
I think too that having the ability to inspire confidence, you have to be a good listener.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to your team, listen to the people who are on your team, people who support you, people who work with you daily. Because when you inspire confidence in them, it allows them to reach their full potential.
I love that. Okay, so I put together some qualities. So these are some I thought of. There's obviously tons more. My favorite one, and I want to share just a little story with you all is when you talked about your mentor, and you said the word purposeful, so intentional. That's a word that rings. It kind of wakes me up when I hear someone say the word intent or intentional, or when I feel someone doing something intentional to me in a positive or negative way, but you feel that word. You feel purpose. When someone does something on purpose, you feel it. And so when you think about some of the mentors that you shared with us, but even if you kept them to yourself, these people did something intentional to you that was positive, and they woke you up a bit. Like, whoa, like what was that? Like, I want to do that. I want to be like you, not just so you can end there. It's so you can change others. So that's a part of executive presence is your stop isn't just to end at, stamp, you get a gold star, you're an executive presence, you get one too, you got it. That's not where it ends, right? This is like pay it forward. You're moving forward to do this for others. And so going back to your question, do you have to be the Oprah Winfrey to get executive presence and then you're done? No, and you can start doing it now. So these are just some qualities here that ring true to me when I think about some of my mentors and people that have inspired me. Again, there's definitely more, and I'll share the deck with everyone so you can have it too. I told Roger I would do that. But yeah, so anyone want to add, take away, talk through any of these? No? Okay. Think about Ellen DeGeneres. Hot topic, right? She's super successful. She makes people laugh. She inspires kindness. She does all these great things. But let's rewind about 25, 30 years of Ellen's life, right? She lived in the South. She grew up in a very very conservative home. She wanted to pursue comedy. Already, Ellen, what are you doing? So she pursues comedy. She hits it off in a stand-up forum. Someone catches wind of her, and she ends up on Johnny Carson, I think. So she ends up on Johnny Carson. She crushes it. She's the first woman for him to pull over and have a seat with him, right? So all of a sudden, this big break happens, and now her parents are like, "Oh, Ellen, we're so proud. We always supported you in comedy, right?" So Ellen gets a show, and she decides she's sick of hiding. She's sick of hiding herself. She comes out. Everything goes away. Her partner dies. She's rock bottom. What does she do? She does not take no for an answer, right? She figures out a way to get back up through her true self to inspire. So it's kind of ebb and flow. It's not taking no for an answer. It's standing up when people are discounting you. It's moving forward, and all of those knocks, they make you who you are. They give you this, they fill your core, and you're stronger because of it, right? So, she's someone that I really admire too. but just a great example of not standing down. So
Just put one word on that list.
yeah,
Which form of present do you need?
you're present, you're there, you're here, you're in the moment, you're listening, you're there. What do you mean, like forward thinking? Is that what you're, or
Do
like?
you present yourself
Oh.
in a certain way? Do
Presence.
you
I
give
see.
people presence of wisdom, pearls of wisdom? Like, there's a lot of things that can be wrapped up in your presence. And yes,
Yeah,
it's
so
unintended.
the way present here is being here, being in the moment, being listening, which can move into your overall, I think, presence. So yeah, I mean both. You need both. So why should you want this? So the salesperson in me is, what's in it for you, right? The part that I want to call attention to on this slide, and I want to be thoughtful about this, is executive presence is a doorway to open opportunities to yourself. So, whether a small business owner, you're trying to switch careers, you're, trying to expand your network, you're doing all of these things, you convey and you portray who you are to your network, no matter where you're at. And so having this really confident presence opens up opportunities for you. And so that's the main takeaway from this slide is aiming to achieve this gives you access to additional opportunities. Questions, thoughts on that one? No? So, of course, I wouldn't be delivering value if I didn't leave you with some, simple takeaways that you can start doing now. Find a mentor. So no one's too experienced, no one's too inexperienced, no one's too far in a career, no one's too new into a career to find a mentor, to find someone that motivates you, whether they're in a different field than you or anything. You can think of a mentor, you can visualize a mentor, you can meet a mentor in a networking, you can meet each other and find this person that you want to model yourself after. An example is, for me, I think Steve Jobs does a really nice job of public speaking. So I watch a lot of his videos. I'm never going to meet Steve Jobs for physical reasons. He's unfortunately left us. He's left us with some brilliant innovations and some brilliant inspirations. And so all we have left of him is his memory, and I cherish it so much because I think he's just one of the most phenomenal people, groundbreaking individuals that we had on this planet. And so he's someone in my quest to become a really great public speaker. I looked to him. I looked to him for inspiration around that skill. So you can start doing this right now in your minds. Ask for feedback. I love this group. I want to come again. But find your safe space, find your niche, and ask people for really candid feedback and honest feedback. Find people you trust that aren't afraid to give you the good, the bad, the ugly, and trust that when they give you the ugly and the bad, it's from a very genuine place of wanting you to be better and wanting you to be better in your vision of yourself. So again, you can do that today. And then finally, this is a work in progress. This isn't a magic pill. There's no secret sauce. There's no trick. Going back to the slide of all the faces, those folks didn't just wake up and get where they're at, right? There's hard work, there's dedication, there's change management, there's changing your habits, there's practicing this in all facets of your life. And so that's, again, something you can do immediately from here. And then bonus tip, make your own. So going back to the original spirit of this entire presentation, I'm not the authority here. I'm here to inspire you all to find your own executive presence and find what that looks like for you. So that's all I have for you today. feel free to connect with me and reach out with any questions or anything. I live in Boston. I'm here and around this area all the time, so I'm really thankful that Rogera invited me here today. And yeah, thank you all for the great participation. This was awesome.
Already